There was a conviction recently of a terrorist, Boko Haram. I believe his name is Hussaini Ismail. He was convicted for 20 years by a high court. He was a Boko Haram terrorist. Nnamdi Kanu was convicted, I think, last week, and his own conviction said life sentence. I don't understand why one terrorist is getting 20 years and the other is getting a life sentence if you're saying that. I think Pastor made a good point. There's this idea that justice is served differently. My name is Honorable Mohammed Bello El-Rufai. I represent the excellent people of Kaduna North. I'm from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, I'll try and be as quick as possible. It was a long day and I came late because I was unwell. Let's do this quickly. Short term, the President has rolled out a clear plan that we commend. A lot of my colleagues have rightly spoken about this and I agree. But our problem is not announcing plans. It's executing them with clear timelines. This Parliament must insist upon those timelines based on the President's recommendations. One thing I would like to add, Mr. Speaker, in addition to the recruitment, is the need for us to increase immediately the basic salaries and the welfares of police officers and soldiers, and we must find the money to do that. At present, Nigeria, put it this way, one police officer manages 600 Nigerians. The UN recommends that ratio should be 1 to 400. We are understaffed. The President has tackled that. That's one point in terms of the short-term solution. And I think, sir, you leadership and committee chairman like Honorable Jimmy Benson should keep an eye on this execution. We can't just make announcements. Let's say by February we're about to see X, Y, Z. That will help. In the medium term, sir, there was a conviction recently of a terrorist, Boko Haram. I believe his name is Hussaini Ismail. He was convicted for 20 years by a high court. He was a Boko Haram terrorist. Nnamdi Kanu was convicted, I think, last week, and his own conviction said life sentence. I don't understand why one terrorist is getting 20 years and the other is getting a life sentence if you're saying that. I think Pastor made a good point. There's this idea that justice is served differently, and it affects the problem. Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude by saying this. I've been an advocate of state police. I've sought the wisdom of more experienced members like Honorable Sada Soli, Honorable Adodogwa, even yourself and the Speaker. I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Somebody said that earlier. We cannot be sitting in Abuja and expecting operations to be efficient in Benue. We have to go back to communal policing. You that are older than us always tell us there was a time when if a guest comes to a community, everybody knows him. We have to get the traditional leaders involved and go back to state policing. This Parliament, under your leadership, and I know the excellent work you're doing in the Constitutional Review Committee, is looking at that. Sir, no time for election talk now. We have to tell the public a timeline to roll this out. The fear that governors will abuse it always shocks me because they already have all that power. I'll finally end by putting myself in trouble as usual. The North has an issue. My honorable sister mentioned why we've become a breeding ground for such things. This is why. We are not sending our children to school. Of late, you have bandits on TikTok holding monies. The younger people, younger than myself, that have no employment and no skill because we've neglected them, is a failure on all our parts over the years. Mr. Speaker, these young people go on TikTok and see a criminal holding minted cash. He's suddenly exciting. You want to emulate him. Mr. Speaker, we can do whatever we want to do in terms of FDI, IGR, investments, but we are failing in our primary duty, which is to protect the people we serve. We must increase the welfare of police officers. Recruitment should not be by allocation, sir. Each state should provide the exact amount of numbers. It should be digitized. We should look for young Nigerians that want to join the army to serve, not because it's a job that's seen as something else. I'm sorry if I spoke too friendly, Mr. Speaker. We are relying on you and the members of the Constitutional Review Committee to not only follow up with the President's excellent announcement, but to finally roll out state police in this country. I hope I made my point, and I really appreciate the session today. And once again, sorry I came late. Thank Thank you so much.
30 seconds more. You still have another 30 seconds.
Oh, I thought I didn't have time, Mr. Speaker. Fine, with the 30 seconds, let me... Sir? What? No, sir. I think the reason why I spoke like that, Mr. Speaker, is the passion is enough. You said something that I appreciated, and Honorable Benson said something earlier, and I was at fault. Shagai and I we were joking about something, and then you said this is not a funny matter. It's not. I also would like to implore all of us here. This is not a time for weddings, for events, as you rightly said, for dinners or public. You know, we should show that.
Time up, Honorable Rufai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's a
right now happening in Zaria. Today is 26. Yeah. A commercial trailer passing through Zaria around Ahmadu Bello University, loaded with bullets, on his way to supply to the bandits. For one reason or the other, there is along Zaria Sokoto highway. Today, now,
the bullet was dropping.
The bullets were dropping and on the road. The driver did not know and was still going, and the bullets were dropping. I hope he has been apprehended. Yeah. So I use this opportunity to call on the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State to quickly send a team to go and escort the trailer loaded with bullets. Bullets are dropping on the road. The people are crying. I think we should stop further discussion on this matter and go into the prayers, because there is a lot of work to be done. So, there's no need to, whatever you are going to say, Senator Plank, these bullets that are dropping on the ground, we need to make a resolution on this now, before the bullets find their way into the hands of the bandits. Are you going to say the bullets should not be? Okay, just say something now, because I don't want anybody to feel that it was shot out. Let's just use 30 seconds and say what we want to say, because these issues are too serious, and security really should not be discussed in the open like this.
Yes, sir.
But because of the peculiar circumstance that we have found ourselves, look at it's here.
Yes, sir. President of the Senate.
Get the IG and send it to him, and then let him.
President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues.
No protocol. Just
yes,
say
sir.
what. Say something.
Yes, sir. I know where this issue is discussed, and people like one or two sentences to the feelings possible, brother. Sir, I want us to watch at the sources of stress, one of the sources of fundraising for bandits. Because all the monies they normally get from kidnapping is to finance or buy weapons to come back as bandits. Then, sir, we are concerned about buying equipment. As much as we have equipment, and a large number of our youths are unemployed, they will be the one that will ridicule the usage of the equipment. But if we sweep numerous numbers of the youths and get them engaged, employed as police, sir, the ratio of Nigeria to civilian ratio is 1 to 700. One policeman to 700 people. Most of our villages are empty. There is nobody around for you to really feel secured. We're thinking of a vigilante. The vigilantes, at the end of the day, they remain like beggars. Because they don't have salaries, they don't have source of funding. If we will rely on vigilante and not paid pensionable security, we will not get the solution, sir. My wish is that in as much as we are going to spend on equipment, we must sweep our youths and engage them as security. It will take away those that will volunteer to do this job. I believe that unemployment is another critical part. I believe also that kidnapping is another way of raising funds for bandits. I want to, as a representative of Plateau Central, I want to thank the president for one thing, sir. This is the first time that when we are affected by these ruthless bandits, this is the first time that we see government presence condoling with us. We lost a first-class chief some times ago. Nobody came. Up to date, we have traditional rulers that are kidnapped. Nobody comes around. But this time, this session of this regime, we have received sufficient empathy. I believe that if government will have empathy on victims, it will help to create hope in the minds of our people. I thank you.
This from happening. And to do this, Mr. President, is very simple. There is the first most important part that we have to do as Nigerians, which is missing right now. What is this? Every Nigerian, whether you are a politician, you are not a politician, you belong to the ruling party, you belong to the opposition, wherever you exist, we must accept that we are Nigerians and we are having an existential threat. All of us must come to that page, because that is the first stage of defeating our enemies. Mr. President, if we are able to move this, and this is a narrative that has to go around not only in the chamber, on social media, out there in other countries, we have to be clear as Nigerian citizens that this is who we are and we are together on this. Mr. President, the second most important thing we must identify as Nigerians is that, look, there are a category of Nigerians that are actually the first enemy before these criminals. Who are these people? One, Nigerian citizens in our various communities who are informants and collaborators with these criminals. Two, individuals in the military cycle, in the political space, who are collaborators, who are informing and assisting these persons. They are the number one enemies of this country. Mr. President, we must identify this as such and deliberately have an aggressive approach to come after these people and openly get them out for everybody to see, regardless of who is involved in this. Number three, Mr. President, which is what I have noticed first. I just came back from my constituency, and luckily, the GOC from Ibadan that controls Kwara, the commander, they were in my constituency, and I went to join them. Yeah, I'm happy you guys are here. Large number of military people. What's the plan? And they told me how they are moving, what they are going to do, and so on. Mr. President, the challenge I've seen is directly linked with what Zama said. Yes, they are obeying the instruction of the commander-in-chief. That's why they are in my constituency. But how are they operating? I think there's a gap here. Why is that a gap? Maybe we are all getting it wrong. These guys are trained in conventional warfare. Their SOPs, their understanding right now is probably we are not at war. And they operate based on their convenience and based on what makes sense to them. Mr. President, it's time for us to declare that we are at war, and this military guy need to be given a different type of approach in combating the enemies. And lastly, Mr. President, our legislatures, we've been doing our best as far as supporting the military complex with appropriation. What I still think is high time that we change our focus and, in fact, invest more in our security. Because if the country is not secure, we can't have education, we can't have healthcare, we can't have infrastructure, nothing will happen. So security should be priority that concerns everybody right now in this country. And as legislators, we are going to be part of this thing. Thank you very much, Mr. President.